Hey everyone, welcome back to a new series I am calling Kitchen Staples. And basically the premise is the things that you need to cook and always just have something ready in the kitchen to make, because I've seen with all the meal prep services, I don't, if you know what you're doing in the kitchen and you know how to shop for the groceries and you know how to cook, you will always be able to have a quick, easy, and healthy meal for yourself. So this is a series for people who may not know how to cook, didn't think they could cook, and I hope you enjoy. So the first episode, what I want to do is just basic pots and pans and utensils that every kitchen needs to make even the simplest of dishes. And the first thing, they're called saucepans. I call them pots. I got way back when I first was on my own, I bought a set. It had two sizes of saucepan. So it had what I'm going to call a small and a medium. And it had two frying pans, which that'll be the next thing. But, I mean, if you really, a medium-sized saucepan with a lid should pretty much be able to cook almost anything. I mean, your rice, mashed potatoes, a good just medium-sized saucepan. So, and then I mentioned frying pans, and again, I have a small and, I guess large, but medium-ish saucepan. Now, depending, if you saw when I made the Winchester surprise, it was too big for this saucepan. So there are bigger ones out there with higher sides. So if you're going to cook big meals, you definitely want the big one. But the little one, if it's just you, I mean, this is fry your eggs, scrambled eggs, burgers, and like anything. Two size frying pans. Next thing I want to talk about are baking sheets. I would say at a minimum, at least one baking sheet, if not two. I have two because I like to buy, when I buy the chicken, I buy a lot and I bake it for the week. So one usually goes for my chicken, and then I love, my favorite thing right now is roasted broccoli. So 1 to 2 baking sheets, and again, this ought to get you by for anything you want to bake, cookies, just 1 to 2 baking sheets, and you don't need anything fancy. And I always cover mine with aluminum foil. So the next thing I want to move into are basic utensils. We've covered the basic pots and pans, in my opinion. You don't need anything fancy. The ones I've shown you should get you by with most, if not all, recipes. So the next thing, again, I want to do utensils. And you're going to want a spatula. Now, I have one of each. I have a plastic and I have a wooden one. I like this plastic one for when I'm cooking eggs. And I like the wooden one for when I'm basically, you know, frying like vegetables or pretty much anything else. You don't need both. I have my preferences and I like having both. The next thing you need, just a basic knife. You don't need fancy knives, just basically a basic knife. This will cut your vegetables. This will cut your meats. This will cut pretty much anything. Just a good, sharp, medium-sized knife ought to do you quite nice. Slotted spoon, it's a little extra, but if you're cooking spaghetti or pasta or anything that you want to get something out and then drain juice, you want a simple slotted spoon. And the last thing, tongs. Now again, these aren't necessary, but I'm going to go back to my roasted broccoli, because when I put the broccoli on the pan and then I put the oil and seasonings, I love to have tongs to just mix it up on the tray itself. So I just, you know, again, a nice little simple pair of tongs. So that's it for the basics. This is everything I've shown you are pretty much the basics you need to be able to cook or bake just simple things. Now, maybe not baking. We didn't get into the extras with the mixing bowls and all that. That'll be the next episode where I go into, you know, slightly, I don't want to call it advanced, but slightly more extra kitchen utensils and gadgets to take your cooking level to the next game. But what I have shown you are the basics that every kitchen should have, and then you should be able to pretty much cook anything, including those meal kits if you so desire. Thanks for joining me. The next episode's actually going to be pantry staples that you need, that you can, if you have it, you can just, you know, whip up food.